It's the Nikon rimfire AR optic, the P-22. It's the BDC 150 reticle. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, now that we got the hippie cinematic views over, we can get down to the nitty gritty. As you can see, I have it mounted on some UTG quick disconnect mounts here that I got off of eBay. Probably about 15 bucks shipped to my door. Not too bad of a deal. Just make sure you level this on the rifle and level your actual scope so your reticle is not tilted and cockeyed. So let's take off the protective covers that it comes with. There's one, there's two. It's got some fancy work on it, some nice lines, the P-22 logo, the Nikon logo, just a really nicely designed quality unit. Knobs have a very positive click on it, and they actually also have a really cool feature. I'm going to show you in a second. Both knobs, where if you find your zero, you can bring back the knob simply by lifting it up, and it can move without actually moving anything inside. So the spring-loaded knobs, you pull on it, and you can bring it back to zero and pop it on. This way, if you make any adjustments, that one positive click, you know, is just now moving your zero. Some scopes, if you start adjusting this, it might sit at 11 or some other strange number. Mine are always at zero because I lifted it up, put it back to where it belongs. Pretty cool feature. Part of the quality that you get with a Nikon product is going to be the build. A lot of flimsy scopes, the zoom button moves really easily. I mean, it just almost self-adjusts. This one's got a really hard to move knob. It stays where you put it. This is a 2:7 by 32 optic, which means that it will zoom from 2 is the lowest, and it can go all the way to 7 zoom, and you will have a 32 end view. Okay, that's how that works. Just a really nice product. You know, things don't shift on their own. You don't have to worry about throwing this in a bag and it's gonna zoom itself out or mess with the sight adjustment or any you know, it's not gonna throw itself out of alignment. Very well built scope. As you see, I have it set at 50 yard zero. I put notes on a lot of my sights to remind myself, you know, between a red dot, irons, scopes, you know, two rifles, you're going to start forgetting what is what and where is zeroed what. Now, these quick disconnect mounts, like I said, they're about 20 bucks, 25 bucks, maybe 15 bucks if I remember correctly on eBay. They're just quick disconnect. Pull it out, it's unlocked. Put it back, it's not locked. Just a very good scope. I mean, the clarity of the lens is phenomenal. Nice sunny day, you're going to see perfectly. There's no cloudiness. There's no haze in the lens. A very well-built optic. Now, inside the box, I'm going to show you in a few seconds, but another thing that I want to show you about the scope is that even though I have a very bright LED light on it, it is not reflecting a lot of light. It's not shiny. It's a very matte finish to it. So you can definitely tell that the finish of this optic is not going to give away your position. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's pretty important. You don't want sun or light or flashlight or anything bouncing off of this and giving away your position. Because really, no matter what it is that you're hunting, or you know, if you're going off to war with it with a 22 scope, you don't want your position given away by any kind of shiny metals. I'm going to try to zoom in on the rear of it and show you guys, see if you can look inside. Alright guys, the only way I could have done this is the proper lighting and by holding it by hand. But you can see inside is the dead center, and then on the bottom of that is going to be those little dots. There is an app on your phone that will tell you the precise shot placement for those dots. I'm going to go over that in a minute. But if, for example, you have a 50 yard zero, you type in the load, and the ammo that you're using, and it's going to actually tell you what are going to be the point of impact for those specific dots on that reticle. Alright guys, here's that app. It's not free. You got to pay for it on the App Store or Google Play, but it is well worth a couple dollars. If I'm not mistaken, it's like $5. So you pick out the scope you got, all these different scopes. Alright, I'm going to leave mine as is. And you can set the sight height and firing angle, all these other things. You can pick the ammo you're using and your target zero distance. You click fire and it tells you, here's your zeros, you said 100, what each one of those dots is going to represent hit-wise, point of impact. And it also depends on your magnification. You can adjust that. You know, if you have, for example, only 3 times magnification, these are going to be all of your impact points on that reticle. Zoomed all the way out, these are going to be your impact points. If we're going to zoom in all the way, those are your impact points. So it's a really cool app that really helps you. Let's do, for example, target distance. Zero distance is going to be 50 yard zero. Apply that. We're using standard ammo that I have here, 40 grain M22 plated. Target is 150 yards. Target is 150 yards away. We have a 50 yard zero and fire. So according to this calculation, we have our 50 yard zero up top. The first bubble, the first dot's going to be 62 yards. Second one down is going to be 84 yards. Third one down is going to be 104. Then goes 131. And right above the bottom end of the reticle is going to be 156 yards out. Now if we zoom that back, scale it back, we can hit up to 221 yards away. Zoom it out even more, 345 yards away. And I believe that's the end of it, 345 yards. You know, a lot also depends on, you can program temperature in here, elevation, a lot. It's a really cool calculator to help you with this sight. Also in here you can do, like I said, the atmospheric, altitude, feet, temperature, humidity, barometric pressure, wind speeds, wind direction, wind drifts. I mean, you could really bring this down to complete science. You can even get weather right here. It's tied into your phone. So also you have every single scope that Nikon makes in here. So this one app will fit a variety of their scopes, from crossbow to the laser IRT, which is a freaking dream of a scope. The M223, M308, some of their other scopes, the P-223, P300, I guess for the 300 blackout, the ProStep 5, a whole variety of their scopes. The Real Tree Camo Edition, I believe for the shotguns, some of the rim fires. This is the P-22. I have the 150 reticle. They also have a Nikoplex, which is, I believe, it doesn't have those little bubbles on the bottom. Some of their Slug Hunter, shotgun, some of their discontinued models are even on here, the Monarchs. Really cool app. Guys, if you have this scope, I highly suggest, or any of the Nikon scopes, I highly suggest you pick up this app. It could be the reason between having a pain in the ass time figuring out where your point of aim and point of impact is going to be, and a great day. Let's see what that does. Oh, that we were there already. More settings. Like I said, this is your range increment, you know, the height offset between the sight and the bore, a whole bunch of other stuff. Let's go take a look inside the box. Alright, so inside the box is going to be your basic stuff. It comes nicely packaged. I actually use this box just as its own case, if I could say. Everything's wrapped nicely. The scope sits horizontal in here. Comes with a bunch of paperwork and registration for it. Register your Nikon optics now. Do that. Full lifetime warranty on it. Some more information and an instruction manual, if I'm not mistaken, explaining the BDC reticle. That's the dots. Okay, so this is just a basic explanation depending on the particular scope. But you can avoid having to memorize all this if you just get that app. And then the scope specific style instruction manual, which basically just goes over the very basic functions: the objective lens, the eyepiece lens, elevation adjustment, turret, windage turret, power index dot, you know, the basic stuff. The specs of it. Give you guys a second to read that. The eye relief in inches is 3.8 to 3.8. It's a great setup for an AR style rifle. Here's the difference between the two. The Nikon duplex on the left is just your basic cross. The BDC gives you those dots, those mil dots, which can be very helpful, especially with an app taking longer range shots than what you zeroed at without having to guess. Your basic stuff like lens cleaning, the lens and the scope exterior, windage elevation turrets, stuff like that. Waterproof models. And that's pretty much it. That's all that's inside the box. So there you have it, guys. There's the scope, the P-22 BDC 150 reticle for the rimfire platforms. It is a great piece of kit. I think the quality is phenomenal. You're getting Nikon glass. Nikon makes some of the top cameras in the world. So you know you're getting glass that has years and years of research. Not some scaled down junk that is going to lose its zero every time it gets a little bump. Or every time you lean the rifle up against a tree or something and it falls over. When you buy quality products, you're going to save the money because you won't have to spend money re-zeroing the optic. That means wasted ammo. So I urge you guys, do not buy junk. You don't want to spend $500 to $900 on your basic AR platform. Or, for example, in this video, it's 22 specifics. You don't want to spend $400 on the M&P 1522 and then skimp out on an optic that is not going to give you the level of performance that rifle can actually achieve. You're ripping yourself off. Furthermore, think of all the ammo you're going to spend re-zeroing junk optics. I'm not going to name any names, but we all know what we're talking about. Spend a little bit more money, and I guarantee you, not only will this thing give you a level of performance that you want out of an M&P 1522 or anything else you're going to put this on, but the resale value that this optic will have is 10 times more than any junk you can stick on it from some eBay store or wherever else that you're going to order junk on. That's another thing to think about. Yes, you're investing more today. You're going to get a lot out of it, but the resale value will be awesome when you sell this thing. You go sell some junk that you bought for $40, you'll be lucky if you get $15 out of that thing because they know it's junk. A couple bumps and that thing's already fucked up inside. So take that for what it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe. It's I'm Stricken, and I'm out.